Hello, family. We hope that you are enjoying your holiday weekend. I know this can be a holiday that brings a lot of different emotions and such to everyone, but Dream Do Done is wishing you a safe and enjoyable rest of your 4-day weekend. We're going to air a replay today. So enjoy the show, and we'll be back again next week, 1-ish. So nice we had to play it twice. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're tuning in from. It's Monday and it's 1-ish. So you know what time it is. It's Dream Do Done, your accountability podcast here with your favorite ladies, Tamara Hartley, the how-to coach, Serena Brown, Travis, the pulpit chick, and myself, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant, the chief faithpreneur. Thank you for tuning in, being a part of our show each and every week. It's wonderful to see that we are, season 3. So, 3 seasones. Okay, I know that wasn't Spanish, but I couldn't resist. Hey, Jason, how are you? Great to see you. And
what language was that, Stacey?
You said what language?
What language was that?
It was Stacey's.
Okay. Because I was going to say, je parle français, not l'espagnol.
It was Stacey's. So coming off of Mother's Day weekend, we can create and do whatever we want, right? Because who runs the world? Girls and mothers and bonus moms and surrogate moms and godmothers and grandmothers and all the different forms of nurturing that women provide. We hope you had a chance to just celebrate that. I'm always sensitive to the fact that we have people who no longer have their mothers physically here. So I always say a prayer for those who this was the first Mother's Day that they were not able to get a hug, but I hope that they could feel the spirit of their mother with them. And then this was also a difficult Mother's Day for mothers who have lost their children. So this was the first Mother's Day that they didn't have a child to call or to hug. So I'm always sensitive to the fact that while some of us are able to celebrate, others are in great pain. So let's just make sure that we always share some light and some love and even out the celebrations with acknowledgement for those who might not be in the same space. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to the how-to coach so she can greet everybody and she won't use Stacey's.
No, I am so happy to be here today. I hope everyone had a great weekend. And you know what? Every time I think about Mother's Day, and my daughter actually said this, my 19-year-old daughter actually spent the weekend with her over the weekend. I was in Atlanta for a speaking engagement and got to spend some time with her. But one of the things that we acknowledge is that we are definitely grateful for Mother's Day and that day of acknowledgement. But one of the things that she said is like, we celebrate Mother's Day almost every day. She's like, Mom, like I have a group call with my kids like at least once a day. And sometimes it goes down once a day. Sometimes it goes down twice a day. But I'm really, really grateful for just the relationship that I have with my children. But it's always nice to have that day to shout out other people, my sister friends, and everyone who has just been a mother, because it's not even always about a biological mother. There are women who have no children, but that have poured into so many. So all of those that are nurturing and just providing guidance for people out there. I just want to say, I hope you all enjoyed the day. So happy to be here today.
Absolutely. And pulpit chick.
Hey, well, I appreciate you. I was going to say, I got to, of course, come with Ebonics. Y'all is crazy. And happy Mother's Day to everyone. But I certainly echo the same sentiments from my sister Tamara. Mother's Day. My Mother's Day was fabulous. Of course, my husband, my children celebrated me. But I also love to sit back and listen to the other memories that people have from their mothers and the lessons that came along with it, and also to see where certain lessons overlap and have some type of intersection. I think all of us were told, to keep your head up, or, to make sure you don't embarrass me in public. That was one thing my mom would always say, no, do not embarrass me in public, and don't forget where you come from. Don't forget who you are and whose you are. And so that's one thing that I always love to hear, to see what our parents and our grandparents have taught us, and then the things that we passed down to our own children. So my children definitely celebrated me big time, but I'm sure just like every other mother out there, the true celebration was me sitting in the bed and, saying, kind of just let me be. I always say, leave me alone, but just let mommy rest. What can we do, Mom? Oh, just let mommy rest. That's all mommy needs for right
now. Absolutely. I think every mother can relate to that. Like, just, I don't want to answer any questions. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do any laundry. I don't want to do anything. Just exist and be. So yeah, I know that also well. I challenged my family to do a walk with me. So that was fun. But you always have one. If you have more than one child, more than one personality exists, right? And they're just personalities. I don't know where they get it from. But anyway, my oldest was like, walk. He was like, okay, I'm going to do like the marathon. I hand you the water through the car. Because I'm not down for this. So, that's what he said. He was like, I hand the water. So my youngest son is telling his friend, he was like, Mom wanted to do a walk for Mother's Day. Of course, I'm here.
That is so funny. I absolutely love that, though. I mean, I love it. I love it. And yes, I wonder where he gets his creativity, his individuality, going against the grain. Who would guess? Where did he come from?
Must be my husband. But anyway, we are celebrating the fact that we can smile, that we can, as every mother knows the feeling of your child just being safe at home. There's a certain exhale and then having that. And then those, when you talked about memories, I think about some of my friends who have recently lost their mothers, and that's all they have are the memories and the photos and video. So that's not the topic of what we're discussing today, but it's just a reminder, save as much as you can, because a picture, a video, it lasts forever. And those are, ways in which you can share and forward and exchange with others. But we are your accountability podcast. So we talk about life in real time. We're mothers, we're wives, we're business women, and there is a process to progress. That's the tag that you see on our show. It's in the journal that many of you have already purchased. And of course, it's never a shameless plug. It's just a plug. Buy your journal at dreamdodone.com. But today we want to talk about just the steps along the way. I think we need a little pause every now and then just to be reminded that we anticipate your success. We produce this show every week because we want to remind you of the greatness that's in you. That's what Serena's daddy tells the world. There's greatness in you. And he says it purposely over and over again to remind people that you have on the inside of you everything you need to be successful. We believe that you've been created the way you are for a reason, but there's some steps along the way. There's some implementation, and you have to start with the dream. You have to do something so that you can actually get it done. And I believe that the generations that we're seeing evolve past millennials and younger, sometimes they miss that. And then sometimes the baby boomers and older miss the fact that there's no regret, that we should focus on more on what are we learning in the moment. And no matter where we are on the spectrum of life, how are we taking incremental steps to go up that ladder of success, to be able to see that when you started something, that there's something that you can move forward. When we started this show, we didn't know what it was going to turn into. We didn't know if you would watch. And look, you've been watching us for 3 seasons because we showed up and we continue to grow and grow. We didn't have our fancy intro, outro when we started. We just started. We didn't have the website up. We didn't have the products that we're producing, but we started. And somebody needs that message today. You're sitting around, and even past seeing everything that's happened in the last year, you're still waiting. What are you waiting on? Over to you, Tamara.
It is so funny because one of the main questions that I like to ask all of my clients, everyone is always focused on the how, and that's why I'm the how-to coach, but everyone's focused on the how and they just can't figure out the how. So one of the questions I always like to ask is, what are you pretending not to know? because I truly believe what you just said. We have everything we need to do what we're supposed to do. It's all about figuring out exactly what that is and then actually doing the how. And that's kind of really what I like to focus on a lot. You know, when you start something, you may not see everything in place, but it's really already there. It's for you to keep going. You only see a few feet in front of you, and then you keep going and the other things fall into place. And really, a lot of times that's what keeps us from doing something, because we can't see the whole picture. We don't know how our music is going to come together. What if we didn't start this show because we didn't have music?
Okay.
What if we were waiting on the right music and then here's the kicker. We didn't even come up with the music.
No.
Someone else did. And that is just an example of, you think everything's coming from you and your soul and your creativity. No, you're just supposed to start. The people you need, the resources you need, those things fall into place. Someone else created our music, and guess what? We dance to it every single week. And when we heard it, we was like, oh, that's bomb. It didn't have to come from us. Someone gave that to us, someone along that journey. But what if we didn't start until we got that music? That's just a prime example. You know, we didn't have this platform when we first started. And so the people and things, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be everything. And that was a lesson for me in business, because I'm one of those solopreneurs that is a true solopreneur. So I was doing everything in kind of a vacuum, and you get burned out and tired that way sometimes, but you just keep going and doing what you're supposed to do, what your skill set, your skill level is, and those other resources will come into place.
Absolutely. And shout out to Stephen, who joined in, and he said he likes to get people focused on the why. And that's important. You know, if you are not clear about the why, that road to success ahead is very blurry. It's like, you know, you're trying to drive and the raindrops are falling and you don't have any windshield wipers and you're just out here. We don't want you to just be out here exposed. We want you to have a plan, and we want you to have a process. And that's what we talk about here on this show. Pulpit Chick, besides praying for us, what else would you like to do?
Well, number one, I so appreciated what you said, Tamara. Pretending, what are you pretending that you don't know? Certainly, as I was sitting on my nail, enjoying not moving forward towards anything, I was the person who was giving you and everybody else an excuse as to why it wouldn't work. I was, you know, I couldn't see anything outside of my pain, my misery, where I was. And I was very comfortable right where I was. In fact, I made a home right on my nail, right? I mean, I was good. And looking towards a goal of any kind, I almost talked myself out of it. I said, hey, this looks too hard. It may not work. And so I remember a quote that my father said years ago is that if you start, you know, articulating your limitations, then go ahead and keep them. If you're cool right there, go ahead and keep those limitations. But we're in the process. We're in the business of helping you see past your current situation. And so that is what progress is. It's taking one step. Now I know I'm going to sound like an old church mother, but you know, when you take, see, Stacey already knows where I'm going. That's why you're laughing. When you take one step, the Lord will take two. And so I'm trying to not really, be the pulpit chick, but that's all I heard is that if you just take one step, that, divine intervention will step in and take two. And so that's one of the things I certainly appreciate about progress is that all of a sudden everything will start to meet you where you are. Now, if you start saying, I can't do this, well, everything will organize itself against you to make sure that you stay right where you are. But when you begin to make progress with your goals and take steps, trust you me, your friends will fall in place. The how-to coach will show up randomly at your doorstep to make sure you're doing what you need to do. Stacey N.T. Grant will call you on a Saturday evening to make sure that you're handling business. You will have, ironically, people will pop out of the woodwork and have stuff that you need. And so how often have we said, like, oh my goodness, I was just thinking about calling you, or I was just thinking about another opportunity. And here you are just randomly saying, this is a coincidence that you can help me right where I am. And so that's what progress looks like. Once you take one step, I won't go all godly on you, but I will say that the universe will help you continue to push ahead. And that's what I love about progress. It starts to build momentum. It starts to build your confidence, step by step. And so that is what I so appreciated about progress. And I would not be here if it weren't for my sister friends helping me see beyond my current situation and help me start progressing towards my goals. So again, I know I express my gratitude quite often, but again, I must thank you both for not giving up on me.
And listen to what you just said, though, because I know there is someone out there who just heard what you said and was like, that's just such a cliche. You know how we always like to say things, God don't close the door without opening up a window. Not a window, but a window. You take one step, God will take two. Like, that stuff sounds like such like, ooh, like, is that really happening for you? But the truth of the matter is, until you start doing something and start moving, you will never know and you won't feel it, because it does come. Because a lot of times, and I grew up on my grandmother's faith, because I went to church with her. So everything she hollered for, I hollered for, because I was on her faith. But when I got my own and this started happening to me, I was like, are you kidding me right now? This stuff is real. And it's the same thing with this. You see Stacy or you see Serena and you're like, wow, I want to be there one day. I want to do what they're doing. But you don't see it for yourself because it sounds so cliche. As Stacy tells you almost every other week, only Beyonce woke up like that. And she didn't wake up like that. It was just her song lyrics. But you see other people in their progress and you think that it's not possible for you or it can't happen to you until you start doing it and you start having your own divine intervention. And then you're going to be like my sister. You take one step, the Lord's going to take two. You can have your own testimony.
Exactly. You don't have to borrow somebody else's. And she's like, thank you for not giving up on. We couldn't give up on, we can't give up on each other. That's why accountability requires more people. If you're just leaving it up to your own head and what's in your mind, that's where you get messed up. And you will trip all over this thing called life. But when you have the right people, and we talked about this on the show, I call it the front row. When you have the right people sitting in your front row, they're going to be in there in your ear, whether you like it or not. Even if it gets on your nerves, even if you get your little feelings because of what they say. And I just had this conversation with somebody else because I'm known for pushing people and making them uncomfortable. And I'm okay with it. I own it because I know what's on the other side. And I know that if you are going to sit comfortably, as Serena said, on your rusty nail, and you don't want to move unless somebody gives you a whoop, it's not going to happen. So you have to be around individuals who can see that bigger vision. What does your father say all the time, Serena? You can't see the picture when you're in the frame, right? So you need people who can see that vision for you and are pushing you. Say, okay, you started at 1, and that was 2019. It's 2021. Are we moving to 2? Like, what's the next step we're going to take? Or are we waiting until we old as Methuselah before we get over to 3, right? We have to be able to keep measuring. And that's what we want to remind everyone today. How are you measuring that? We wrote it in our journal. We've given you opportunity to write down the vision, make it plain, be able to take the incremental steps that are going to move you upwards throughout your progress and get you to that success. And success is relative. Everyone defines success differently. What does success look like for you? Is it profit in your business? Is it a functioning family? Is it health? Whatever that is, everything requires the steps. You can't skip over it. You can't jump from 1 to 3, right? You have to go through 2 and then you keep building from there. And I think when I watch some of the things that happen social media or in the media, people get this notion that there's some overnight success. Like you drink a special formula and voila, it happens. Progress.
That's right.
Progress. There is a process to progress. It just does not happen. And we can't underscore that enough. So we're in the month of May. People right now, this is a termination month. That's what I call it. All the graduations. They're terminating in their kindergarten to middle school, elementary school, high school, college, post-baccalaureate degrees. People are moving to another level. So they had steps. They went through their freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. They went through nursery to get to kindergarten. Like there are steps and progress. So where are you in your life and what progress are you making? How are you measuring that progress? That's what we want you to record in your journal, right? And I'll remind you of how to get that journal in a little bit. And Serena will give you her thoughts on the steps, and Tamara will tell you how you connect with us. But ultimately, we need you to do something. Right? Because life is a gift. There is no guarantee we'll be here for season 5 and 6. We pray we are, But life is a gift, so we have to use this gift wisely and keep making progress. So Serena, and then over to Tamara.
Absolutely. Well, my final closing remarks just include let nothing stop you. Now, of course, I can be goofy and say, the song from the 80s, don't stop, get it, get it. But the truth of the matter is, let nothing stop. See, you know what? That's why I'm going to keep praying for y'all. That right there. Here I am being mature. I'm trying to put my best foot forward. And I look up at the corner of my eye and see this.
We couldn't help it. Don't stop.
I understand.
She said two things wrong. She said the 90s and don't stop, get it. I didn't know what. That's my air, and I ain't never leaving it.
I see. So, never stop. Never stop. Never let your momentum stop. I mean, honestly, when you take a step, trust you me, everything will organize in your favor. And you still may at times face opposition. And then that's when you have enough strength and enough faith to know, oh, there is something in me that, maybe life is trying to get out of me. But nonetheless, the goal, the dream, the vision, it came to you. And as my father would say, only you can give it life. So get started, get your momentum going, and do not skip over the progress. If there are words that you skip, somehow or another, you still got to go. You got to turn right back around and still figure out what those steps were and the lessons that come along with it. So I'm at a place in my life now, if I got to go through the process, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's not stop until it's done. Tamara, I'll pass it over to you.
So it just took me back, this little conversation that we have. And all of these conversations that we have every Monday are so calculated into what we really thought this platform could really be. It was so intentional. I remember us having a back and forth about that tagline for the show and what it was going to be. And it finally came down to process to progress, from process to progress. How do you go from, an idea to doing and taking action to getting it done? There's a process involved in it. And we understood that from the very beginning. So when you see that tagline, it wasn't just stuck on there. Those were 3 minds, and we were hashing it out, trying to figure out the perfect thing. And we're all creative. And it's not just about, those things that go together, all P's and all C's and, all that kind of stuff. It was really very intentional. And so when we heard it, we was like, yeah, that's it, because we all 3 were in various processes with various stages in our own process. And we knew that there was processes that we all need to go through. And we wanted people to understand that and to not feel bad about where you are, but to understand that it's all about moving forward, taking those daily actions, having the accountability and moving forward. So when I think about that and us sharing that today, it is so intentional. When we first started the show, this is what we wanted to share. But another thing that got my soul bubbling right about now is that how often do you get people who want to pour into you for your good? Like, we're not about just about our success. We're about all of us having success. The 3 of us hold each other accountable on different things because we want to see all of us shine. That is such a great thing, to have people who are in your corner. We are in your corner. If it was just about us, you wouldn't even see us here Monday. We'd just be grinding things out on our end, and you would just see the fruits of our labor. But we're here because we're like, you know what? We want more people on this journey. We want to be a part of other people's journey because there's so much out there for all of us. And the more of us that get to that journey and get to that purpose, the better all of us will be. And we really believe that. So I just love having my sisters on my team, in my corner. I love that we're coming to you. I'm glad that you tune in every Monday and listen to the stories and stuff that we want to share. Yes, we are funny. That is true. But we also are very transparent and really want you to win. Even through all of this pandemic, we have been here. We want you to win. So definitely make sure you stay tuned to the website, dreamdodone.com. We promise. And if we promise on Dream Do Done, it's going to happen, because that's what we do. But we have some great things coming in the works, so we want you to be a part of. Make sure you go sign up for that wait list so you can be the first to hear about it. Yes, we'll share it on Monday, but there's going to be some things that we share throughout the week that you want to make sure that you are involved in. So go to our website, dreamdodone.com. You can get the journal from there, but you can also sign up for some of the classes and workshop and mastermind groups that we have going on. So that's all I got to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You know, one ish every Monday. It's your favorite girls. So we appreciate you. And Tamara, you wanted to say something, or you were just doing the one?
Yeah, I was just doing the one ish.
Look, we're gonna have to put that on the back channel. We're gonna talk about our next product release from that. But we appreciate you and thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the broadcast. Thank you for also sharing it out with your friends and giving us your inbox messages. You know, last week, let me just give the testimonial that as a result of our show, someone was able to go out and negotiate with what we shared in a conversation and sent me a nice little testimonial. So shout out to Sandra if she's listening again. That's why we're here. We want to get more of those testimonials. If something we shared has helped you, just shoot us a quick inbox message. Let us know on the DM, slide in the DMs righteously, and we'll be able to get it. But remember, there's steps to the road ahead. Rashenda, how are you? Serena's going to stop laughing at me, but you know, I'm just saying. I got somebody now that's unrighteously trying to hit me up. Like, what's going on? I gotta block somebody? Like, what? I know I'm working out and my collarbone looking good, but I'm married. All right. You know the show couldn't end. Y'all pray for me, guys. Still working. Mm-hmm.
I cannot. But, ladies and gentlemen,
okay, Stacey, meet me in the green room right now.
Right, you're in so much trouble.
Oh my goodness, Rashenda, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Steven. Bye.